And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at Mystery House. Now, Mystery House is the newest entry into the Escape Room in a Box games. This is from Cranio Creations, and this one has a really unique idea. The box is the game itself, and there are cards that are stuck in this box so that you are looking at the outside of a building. Then, as time goes by, you'll be able to pull these cards out and see farther in using an app, finding items. How does it play? Let me show you. Warning, there'll be the slightest of spoilers here. Not very much. I don't think it will affect you at all, but if you don't want to see anything, just skip to the conclusion. Alright, so here's the box for Mystery House, and it's has kind of the sleeve on it, which is necessary because when you pull it out, it's going to have these windows and stuff. Don't worry, there's no spoilers here that are being shown. Inside it is the rule book, and then two different cases here. We have the Family Portrait and Lord of the Labyrinth. So what you do is you open these up, and this is not, again, it's not really a spoiler per se that I'm showing you. There's going to be a bunch of cards in here, and these are going to show numbers K6. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the house together like this, and then I'm going to look, and on the side here you see A, B, C, D, E, and so I can go around, and here's K, and then I look, and here's K6, so I'm going to take that one and place it in there, looking at the blue side of the numbers, and I'm going to go until the whole thing is finished. While you're doing that, you're going to pull up the app here, Mystery House. You'll press play and you'll pick one of the two scenarios. So for example, here I'll pick Family Portrait. That's what I'm going to play. It will read a story, and you will ignore the story for now, and it will have a countdown. So this app here is going to be used. Meanwhile, I put all the different things in a box, and at this point, players, and what they recommend you do is you put maybe a game or two in the middle of the table and put the box on top of it. That's what I would do, so everyone can look into the box. And as you look into the box, and this is very minor spoilers at this point, you might be able to see through a window, but you can't get to stuff, and you might see things along the walls and such. And so if you see something, so let's say, for example, this plain old boring brick wall, and I see something there. So this is K6. I can see that. So what I would do is on the app itself, I would say K and then K6. And then, do I see one of these things there? I'm like, well, definitely I saw a chair there. So I hit chair, and nope, there is no chair there. Do I see a crowbar there? Nope. And each time you do that, you lose time. But let's say there had been a crowbar there. It might say, take a specific item. And then I might take that item, and I would find a crowbar here, item number 2. Great. Now in the future, when I go to a location, instead of searching, I can go into my backpack, and the crowbar would show up here, because the app would know I have it, and I would click on it to use it. That doesn't necessarily work. Also, sometimes there might be a code to put in somewhere. So at K6, maybe there's a code, 6523. It didn't work because there probably is no code there. Again, I showed you kind of a blank wall, or did I? Either way, these are the three things that you will do. Occasionally, something might happen where when you search for something or use something, it might say remove it. So I would remove that wall, and now you could see farther into that room and get to the things in that room. I would be able to see all these here. Again, I'm not going to show you any of that stuff because you probably can't get through that direction. But you're going to keep going until you solve the case. When time runs out, it will just start counting up. And there is a hint system here where you can press the question mark here and get a new hint. Or if you're in a room specifically, you might be able to get a hint in that room. And you just keep going until you figure it out. So there's, like I said, there's two different cases that come with the game, and each one is completely replayable. These boxes for these cases are actually not the best of quality, but that's not that big of a deal. I'm curious how they'll sell additional cases for this. The cards themselves, here's that K6 card again. They slide in here. So what you do is when you set up the game, you're only supposed to look at the blue sides, not the red side, because the red side might show something. But you still don't look at the blue sides either. You kind of just look at the top and quick slide them in. It's not that hard. The game is obviously going to require you to maybe take a closer look at things to get in there, and the game recommends that people use their phone flashlights or whatever to look inside it. You may pick up the box and look inside things, and I found for the most part the components here are pretty good. It's pretty easy to figure out things. Not easy, but I didn't find anything that, we couldn't see that. The app itself is pretty good. I will say that the app for the app is free and you can play it. The app for the Mystery House, I think, is more fully realized. The Family Portrait is more realized than the Lord of the Labyrinth. The help system here was definitely better. For both of them, there are a few times where there was some grammatical or some translation issues I saw, and I thought the app could have been slightly better, but I was able to complete both of them without any sort of problem. So there's two cases included here. We have the Family Portraits, which has a horror-ish type theme. It's not heavy horror. It's not very scary horror at all. And we have Lords of the Labyrinth, which is a fantasy style theme. Lords of the Labyrinth was rated simpler than the Family Portraits one. I thought the Family Portraits one was easier for myself. That one I solved in time, got it done. The other one we did not. However, we played the other one first, and we were still learning the system of how the system works in general. If you just push, the game's pretty brilliant. So you go to location, you saw there was that whole list of items there, and you're like, ooh, I'll just go to location, look at the list of items, then compare that list to the thing. First of all, it's going to take time. Secondly, if you hit those buttons randomly, you will lose time. And so the game is pretty smart about that, and there's a big list of things. There was the occasional, you see something, and you're like, oh, I see it, but wait, it's not here on the list. Like, I'll see a treasure chest, so I look for treasure chest. Nope. Oh, chest. No, it's not chest. Oh, trunk. Sometimes that sort of thing would happen, where the word you're looking for is a different word, a synonym. So we found that to be a thing. And sometimes there was, like I said, a little bit of translation things, which actually was a little... that's spoilerish. I can't explain that, but there was something that we thought was a translational problem, and it wasn't when we played through. It's fun. It's really unique. It definitely has some limitations. It definitely has the fact that, people are going to look at the box, but we found... The first time we played it, we put the box on the table and people just picked it up and looked at it. The second time, we stacked up a bunch of games, put it here, and just rotated it around so people could look in it, and that worked really well. There were still times where you'd pick it up, shine a flashlight in, and if you have bad eyesight, this is definitely going to strain that to some degree. But it's unique and interesting, and there's two different cases that come in a box. That's great. I hope that we see more cases show up, and we'll have to see what the pricing is on those as time comes by. And I wonder how many times you can do this exact thing. But this is really similar to the point-and-click adventures on the computer game. Where you go through and you look at things and you click on stuff and you pick the hammer up here and hit the window and smash the window. And the stuff here makes thematic sense. And I enjoyed it. Each one is an hour long, although because you might make some errors, it'll probably be less than that because you lose time for each one. But I would say we played each one about an hour, because even with errors, we went overtime on the one. But I like it. It's unique. It's interesting. It feels different than the other ones, the Unlock, Exit, those series. And we'll have to see how it has legs. I think this one is a little bit more limiting than the other ones. Not everyone's going to be able to play it because of the reasons I mentioned. But I found it to be really cool, and the idea itself is fascinating. Also, it's replayable. Not for you, because you'll see everything. If you go through it, you see everything. Because you can't win if you don't. But, then you could let someone else play it too. So there's that. That's Mystery House Adventures in a Box. Dice Tower Judgment approved!
Thanks so much for watching another Dice Tower video. If you enjoy our videos, subscribe to the channel for more fun, comprehensive board game coverage. Also, consider joining us at one of our events. Come to Dice Tower Retreat, a small, intimate gathering where gaming is king. Join us for Dice Tower Cruise, the largest board game cruise. Attend Dice Tower West in Las Vegas for gaming fun on the West Coast, or Dice Tower East in Orlando in sunny Florida. Dice Tower Conventions, the friendliest gaming conventions on Earth. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching the Dice Tower.